Guys, I'm finally getting around to taking a look at this Citizen. This is the nb0070-57e. This was sent in by my buddy Jeff McMahon. I'll put a link to his channel, probably his video on this watch. So big thanks to Jeff for sharing this with us. So this is known as the Signature Series from Citizen. There was a couple of watches they've done in this lineup, and this is the Grand Touring. And you can see right away from its size, its look, the wonderful bracelet and the brushing, and then the way they did the polished reliefs and everything. It's got a nice look to it for sure. So let's get into the case size, and then we'll talk more about the finishing and the movement and all that stuff. So I measure a 44mm case. That's excluding the crown guard capture thing here. You're probably like over 48 if you had that. And 49.36 on the lug to lug. You can see it has a nice shaped case angling down, and 14mm thick, but that's including that domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. I'm pretty sure my measurements are right, but I get 23mm lug width. Bracelet tapers down to 20. Has a really nice milled out clasp, single. Doesn't have the extra keeper. You don't really need that. This is a touring watch, not a diver. And then just a double pusher. Very clean and well done. I don't see any micro adjust on this guy, so I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't see any micro adjust on this. Seems to work good on my wrist. I mean, I can give you a wrist shot here real quick. It's sized for Jeff. He has a larger wrist, but you can see on my 7 1/4 still wears fine. Kind of has that, I don't know what other watch it would be, like kind of has that like Panerai look to it. I know it's not. It looks like something else. I'm sure you guys can help me narrow that down. But it has a nice, almost cushion case to it. And the bracelet is just phenomenal. I love the way the bracelet looks. It does actually have screw links too. Check this out. So yeah, it's a high quality bracelet for sure. 200-meter water resist on this, obviously automatic. It's using the Miyota 9012, which is a movement that the Citizen held for themselves. They didn't sell out that movement, the 9012, to third party like they do with the 9015 and everything. The 9012, it was reserved for them. They do a little bit of regulation on it. They do some finishing on it, and it has a custom rotor basically. This is a non-screw down crown that's part of this capture system here. So you'll be able to wind it in the first position or the closed position. You can pop it out once, you can do the date, and then you can pop it out to the final position. It'll hack the movement, and you can set the time. Try to get my smudge print off there. So let's zoom in. If we can look past some of the marks here, you can see it has a very high quality AR coating on it. Basically, if you get it in certain lights, full light, it makes it so the crystal basically disappears. Nice hand set there. They're large, legible, and reach out plenty far enough to touch and cover the indices. You can see the 12, 3, 6, and 9 all are applied with no loom on them, and they are faceted in such a way that light just catches them and it makes it super legible. That is not on accident. They did that very well intentioned. As you can see through all of the indices, there's basically a line running the circumference of them. So like on the 3, you can see it's going up and down, and then it kind of circles around, and then it runs across the 6 and the 12, and then up and down on the 9 again. So it almost simulates like this extra layer or circle within the dial pattern there. Pretty slick. So super legible though, guys. Check out that date window too. Instead of framing it up top, they framed it down below. And then they also did the black. So it really keeps that symmetry of the dial, I think. It's very cleanly done. And then that Citizen applied logo up there just below the 12. In a lot of lights, it kind of disappears. And then they get a pop of color on it, and it just arrives to the party. So if you look at the movement here, you can see it is slightly finished. Actually, even the case back has some cool finishing to it. It has 4 screws holding it down, labeled sapphire, a bunch of stuff. You can see up there too, some people have pointed out just underneath that, the signature collection, it says sample on it. Well, when you have a lot of these larger watch companies, they will stamp sample on their case backs, and these are the watches that make the circuit. These are the ones that kind of go around, and the sales rep typically will take it to authorized dealers or to shows, and that's how they get a first look at it. That's just the way the industry works. I've noticed that many times with some Casio and some other brands. I'm not sure what's supposed to happen to that watch. I don't know if it's supposed to get turned back in, but obviously sometimes they make it out into the real world where we are, and that's how Jeff ended up with it. He picked it up from somebody. I think he picked it up. I don't know if he bought it off from eBay or not. I can't remember. But it's a real deal, guys. It's, you know, it's the full-on legit watch. When they label them as sample, because I remember handling a G-Shock Square Titanium before they were released, it was stamped sample on the back. It was a fully functioning, it wasn't like a prototype, it was a fully assembled watch. They have other watches built when they stamp these sample, and they're just not out in the distribution yet. So anyway, that was my little ramble about the sample thing. It's not a big deal. So actually I think it's kind of cool because it has a little bit of a story to it. This watch was out being seen before the watch was even released. I think that's kind of cool. Let's check the Loom on this guy, and then we'll wrap it up, I guess. I did give it a little blast, but I don't think it really needed it. Wow, check out that handset. I knew that handset Loom was going to be wild. So it is a nice green. So it's obviously some sort of C3 compound. The hour and minute hand, second hand are slightly better loomed than the indices, but the indices are plenty bright. The hour and minute hand and second tip there is just really well done. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Jeff for sending this in. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Look at that, even in low light, look how the light just catches the metal indices there. That is such a good looking watch.